brought you guys all together today is, as it's the end of the very first year, and you guys are part of what we refer to as our new flex model. And you guys, we talked about it with your parents and you last year when you applied, and we looked at doing things a little bit differently this year. We want to get some feedback from you. We're trying to continue to build this flex program into an outstanding learning environment and a place where students excel and do fantastic. And as teachers and educators, we're open to hearing back from you guys as students.
What's the question exactly?
The question is, how do you want to be assessed in school?
We really touched on like projects in place of tests and stuff, like because we feel that tests are not necessarily great assessments of what we know. They're just kind of like what you remembered and what you were able to like write down, and or like what answer you picked out of like A, B, C, or D. And we just feel like if you like projects, you could incorporate like, I don't know, like engage the student a lot more. It's like you can like hand out a project and say, we're doing a project on, per se, Napoleon, to find out this, this, and that about him, and everyone's project's basically going to be the same thing. You know, it'll be in different formats, it'll be the same thing, but like, if you were to take a project, and instead of having a test on a unit, you say, we just learned about electricity, do a project on electricity, and like show us your favorite, like incorporate all of it, and like showcase your favorite part, showcase like what's like really important. And in science, we had a unit test, 2 of them, and we also have projects to do instead of the unit tests, which is good.
Because I normally start my homework at 4 every day, so like take like 20-30 minutes to work on English, like to get most of my badges done, and then like do like 30 minutes worth of math questions.
So is that structure you'd like to see imposed on you by teachers that you have, or is that something you could do for yourself?
I would like it to be something that I could do for myself, like that self-control.
I don't think you can just solely judge someone, as Cam has said, just by tests and base it on memory and all that things, because of course students, like, they learn in different ways, and some of them don't learn the best in tests, and I guess you have also more project-based things. For tests, it is more, I almost feel like I'll memorize these things and then just like keep it in your head, and then it means like store it, and after you finish the test, it just kind of goes away, I feel, almost. And so like the preparation for a test, you basically like just reading over notes, and just most of the time I would think, and I'm not sure that would be one of the best ways to help a student to learn or remember those things.
Cam talked about science in Flex this year being kind of a blend of unit tests and projects.
Yeah.
How did you feel about it being a blend?
I think it was a lot better, yeah, that we incorporate projects and tests on.
Final exams for socials and science are more like projects. I think you can take them home and work on them, and they have a due date, so I think
Okay.
that is less stressful in a way than doing tests.
Mm-hmm. What did you do a project on? Can you tell me about a project that you did?
Just show your knowledge in a video, you think. I think.
So for science, what the original plan was to make a video talking about of all the different subtopics we've gone through the years, like things as chemistry, biology, physics, and astronomy, and those kind of things. And originally you're supposed to cover whole detail, like, I guess brief detail of all the other mini subtopics that we learned in there. But I guess just because for tight timing, and so we changed, Mrs. Coe changed it to one topic that we did very detailed, but it's still a video format. So I think that definitely, I guess, helps, because some people visually that and could help
Less
other
stressful
people.
than a test, I believe.
And yeah.
Something we would like to see more is like grading through conversation, especially like even like science or English, like the way you can go up and talk to Brad about badges, like even like the like all these what do they call it, like the oxymoron, what do they call them?
Literary
The
terms.
literary term badges. You can talk to them about it. If you can show your understanding of them through talking to them, you can get that badge.
And you like that?
Yes.
Why?
because I feel like talking to somebody is a lot more natural than having to take a test on it and then having to like talking to someone to me is much easier than having to write it down.
And it does the same job in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you do last year?
We had to do a big social studies project last year, and I remember more from that project than I do from any other test that I wrote.
What was it about?
Well, I did Anne Boleyn, but it was like everybody got to pick a subject from the time period that we were studying.
Okay, and why do you think you remember more about doing a project than you do for, because people study, people study really hard on it for exams, right?
I don't forget it all the
Yeah,
next
because
day.
you're just memorizing for a test. When we're reviewing for like an accumulative test, instead of doing the stuff from like a long time ago first, and then by the time you got to the test, you've already forgotten that review. You do like the stuff that you just did first, and then you do the stuff from the longest time ago last.
But then the first stuff you did first is the
But
hardest.
you just
or last
did
is
it,
the
but you
hardest.
just did it.
Yeah,
So
it does.
so it's already in your head anyway.
Wait, what are you talking about?
You said something about having
yeah.
conversations?
Well, I don't know. I think it would be an okay way of testing if you had the time, I guess, like having a conversation with your teacher, just like,
So kind of like what Brad's doing with the.
How would you do
Yeah,
that
but
with
no,
like math? But what if you freak out and you're like, I don't remember anything? But
Yeah, because that's what people would do. Like,
Yeah.
people just like go
really
blank.
mean teacher? What if your teacher doesn't like you and they're like biased?
What
You're
if
like,
they
this
spit
student
on you
doesn't listen
and
to
you
class,
don't-
I'm not gonna listen to them.
well, I'm pretty sure.
So,
you can't
so it
say
would be,
that.
what you're saying, Alexa, is that it would be dependent on the relationship you had with your teacher?
If you
There
didn't
you
like
go,
them,
but
you'd be like all
that's
nervous
the
around
Reynolds
them.
3 R's. There you go. You have to have
What
good
are-
relationship.
Yeah, but what if you don't? It just doesn't work.
It's just, you guys
yeah.
just are like,
Like,
You say like, oh no, I can't have a conversation with you, I don't like you.
yeah, like me and someone.
So in that case, so if, let's hypothetical, let's imagine you have a teacher who's like, we're going to do your testing through a conversation, and you're like, oh, I really, like this teacher I really don't get along with. What could you do in that case?
You just say, I'm sorry, I can't do this, I can't.
And then what could you do
Walk
instead?
away.
and then do like a project, or like maybe even just like film yourself doing
No,
like a
you're in
conversation.
Flex, you could ask for an alternative project. I did that all the time. I never did projects in the beginning of the year. I just did videos. And it worked.
What did you do?
I did videos instead of projects.
Yeah,
Because
they're
I
all on the
hated
internet.
writing essays. Now they're all on the internet forever and
I
ever.
found them on the
Oh,
internet.
the YouTube videos? Yeah, we found your YouTube channel.
And how did your teachers, like, were they okay with that, or did they?
Yeah, as long as I like handed in my notes and like a script or something. They're like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't like studying. I hate studying.
You shouldn't have
so
so
fun.
I don't know how to study. The
But
teachers
there's a
should teach you how
You know
to
how-
study.
Yeah.
You know how
They say go
yes.
study for
They should
yourself.
have study classes, like a class where they just teach you how to study.
Okay,
or
no,
like,
no.
Rachel, that's learning strategies.
No, it's not. They don't do anything in learning strategy.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
Students
but
how to
in
study.
like your actual core
Yeah.
class, like have like a lesson
Yeah, like
before the final exam to like
Yeah,
help
but that's
you.
what you're supposed to learn in high school.
The inquiry project, I think that if you want to do, like if you're like passionate, like Mari is writing a book. If you like want to do something like that, then you should like have the time, so you do like flex time, right? But if you don't like aren't into that, then you should still like explore like subjects that you might want to do something in. But like if you're not, you haven't chosen anything yet that you like feel like you want to pursue, then you shouldn't have to do it. I don't think.
Yeah, like what Leah said, I think if you have something that you're like passionate about and you really want to explore, then it's great because you kind of like are encouraged to do that in Flex. You have that time, that support to be able to do it, but it shouldn't be a requirement that you have to do it because there's some people who haven't found that one thing that they're super passionate about yet. And trying to like force kids to try and pick something to research that's like just solely about them
And if,
is
like,
kind of
halfway
hard
through-
if they don't know what they're really into yet.
I just want to say thank you very much for your participation in that. There's a very good chance that we're still going to want to follow up and have some conversations, probably group, maybe individual.